Singapore to send investigators to Bangkok after flight incident. And search operation activated after bus plunges into Nile in Egypt. Good afternoon and Salam Malaysia Madani. This is World Today. I'm Brendan Lepal. Singapore will send investigators to Bangkok after one person was killed and 30 injured when a Singapore Airlines Boeing 777 plane from London hit severe turbulence and was forced to make an emergency landing in the Thai capital. The Transport Safety Investigation Bureau is in touch with its Thai counterparts and will be deploying investigators to Bangkok. The airline is also cooperating with relevant authorities on the investigations and will continue to extend all possible support to the victims. The passenger that died during the incident was a 73-year-old British man, likely due to a heart attack. An initial data analysis by the Aviation Tracking Service Flight Radar 24 suggested the London-Singapore flight SQ321 experienced more than 1 minute of extreme turbulence at around 11,300 meters over Myanmar, during which it violently rose and plunged several times. The aircraft later declared a medical emergency and diverted to Bangkok. Emergency vehicles raced onto the tarmac at the Thai capital's main airport, with lights flashing and sirens blaring after the plane touched down at 3:45 p.m. local time. At least 10 female farm workers, 9 of them children, died in Egypt when a minibus plunged off a river ferry and into the Nile, northwest of Cairo. 9 passengers were injured and a search operation was ongoing for 5 others who were unaccounted for. The vehicle sank at the village of Abu Ghalib, some 50 kilometers northwest of the capital. Villagers used small wooden boats to row out and help search and rescue workers look for survivors as relatives waited anxiously on the banks of the narrow stretch of the Nile. A crane was finally able to lift the minibus from the water after rescuers and locals had swum out to extract victims from the windows of the submerged vehicle. The injured passengers were taken to nearby hospitals for treatment. The Ministry of Social Solidarity said it would provide financial compensation to the families of the deceased and injured. After carrying out an initial investigation at the scene, the Public Prosecutor's Office ordered a technical inspection of the minibus to try to determine the reasons it had plunged into the water. Commuter accidents are common in Egypt, especially in agricultural areas along the Nile and adjoining streams, where small, overloaded boats ferry farmers and workers back and forth. And in other news, North Gaza's last 2 functioning hospitals, Al-Oda and Kamal Adwan, are barely operational, with the Israel-Hamas war now in its 8th month. Hospital officials said Israeli forces had fired on the facilities and that snipers had been deployed near one of them. Al-Oda Hospital Acting Director Dr. Mohammed Saleh reported that Israeli forces had been firing at the hospital buildings and that snipers have taken up position in nearby houses. He said the southern wall of the hospital has been destroyed and all medical staff and patients are inside the hospital wards. He added that moving around the hospital is extremely difficult, but staff still had to transfer water from the second building to the first one because the Israeli forces hit the first building with a shell on the 5th floor, destroying the water tanks. Tuesday also saw patients and staff being evacuated from another North Gaza hospital, Kamal Adwan. Its director, Dr. Hossam Abu Safia, said the reception and emergency entrance gate of Kamal Adwan Hospital was targeted by an artillery shell from the Israeli army as soldiers advanced towards the complex. Meanwhile, the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, UNRWA, said that food distribution in Gaza's southern city of Rafah were currently suspended due to lack of supplies and insecurity. UNRWA said in a statement that only 7 out of its 24 health centers were operational and that it had not received any medical supplies in the past 10 days due to the closures or disruptions at the Rafah and Kerem Shalom crossings into Gaza. The agency's distribution center, as well as that of the World World Food Programme, both in Rafah, were inaccessible due to ongoing Israeli military operations. Simultaneous Israeli assaults on the southern and northern edges of Gaza this month have caused a new exodus of hundreds of thousands of people from their homes and sharply restricted the flow of aid, raising the risk of famine. Gunmen on motorbikes killed up to 40 people while torching homes during an attack on a mining village in central Nigeria in the latest violence to hit a region troubled by resource disputes and intercommunal strife. The attack took place in Plateau State, where nearly 200 people had been killed last December in multiple raids. Armed men invaded the Zurich mining community in Wurse district, shooting sporadically at residents and torching houses. Plateau State Commissioner for Information Musa Ibrahim Ashams initially gave an estimate of about 40 killed, but later said only 9 had been confirmed dead after speaking to local officials, as the situation was still unclear. While local youth leader Shafi'i Sambo said at least 40 people had been killed in the raid. According to the police, the attackers were fleeing a security forces' operation against bandits using the Bangalala forest as a hideout. They said 9 bandits had been killed in the operation. Sitting on the dividing line between Nigeria's northern and southern region, Plateau often sees outbreaks of violence sparked by disputes between nomadic herders and pastoral farmers. A Greek court threw out charges against 9 Egyptian men accused of causing a shipwreck that killed hundreds of migrants off Greece last year, ruling it had no jurisdiction over the case because the disaster was in international waters. The 9 defendants who were on board and charged with migrant smuggling, caused a shipwreck and participating in a criminal organization spent 11 months in detention before the case was dismissed within hours of the trial opening. They, however, denied wrongdoings, and according to their lawyers, the defendants were migrants seeking a better life in Italy and had been used as scapegoats by the Greek government. Many survivors say a disastrous attempt by the Greek Coast Guard to tow the boat caused it to capsize. Human rights groups and the defendants' lawyers have questioned the integrity of the Greek investigation and say not enough has been done to probe the Coast Guard's role. The cause of the shipwreck remains a source of dispute, as Greece's Coast Guard has denied any role in the sinking and said those on the vessel had refused assistance. The defendants are expected to be released in the coming days and sent to a camp near Athens, while their asylum applications are processed. The Adriana fishing trawler from Libya was carrying up to 700 migrants bound for Italy before it capsized off southwestern Greece on 14 June. Donald Trump's former personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, and 10 others denied charges in Arizona that they were involved in a plot to subvert the 2020 presidential election, won by Joe Biden.
First, this is from last Friday.
Giuliani, who appeared by video link, was ordered to post a $10,000 surety after spending weeks evading efforts to serve him, with a summons and even taunting prosecutors on social media. The indictment says former New York Mayor Giuliani spread misinformation about election fraud in Arizona in 2020 and pressured elected officials to change the outcome of the election. It says he also encouraged Republican electors in Arizona and other states to declare Trump had won the ballot despite the actual results. Giuliani is one of 18 defendants in the case brought by Arizona's Democratic Attorney General and one of 11 who made their first court appearance. They are facing conspiracy, fraud and forgery charges over their efforts to assemble a slate of electors from Arizona pledged to support Trump, a bid to undermine certification of the 2020 election.
Virtual appearance, given the problems that we've had.
Next, UK announces compensation package for blood scandal victims. Stay with us. Victims of a decades-long contaminated blood scandal that has killed about 3,000 people in Britain will start receiving final compensation payments this year. Some of them are likely to receive sums of around £2 million. 30,000 people, including children, were infected with viruses such as HIV and hepatitis after being given the tainted blood between the 1970s and early 1990s. A bombshell report released on Monday found the tainted blood affairs was covered up by successive governments and health officials and largely could have been avoided. Prime Minister Rishi Sunak issued a wholehearted and unequivocal apology and promised compensation for everyone affected. Updating Parliament on those plans, Government Minister John Glenn said victims would receive interim payments of £210,000 within 90 days before the final scheme becomes operational.
If you have been directly or indirectly infected by NHS blood products, or tissue contaminated with HIV or hepatitis C, or have developed a chronic infection from blood contaminated with hepatitis B, you will be eligible to claim compensation under the scheme.
Friends, family members and carers of those infected will also be eligible for compensation, meaning that several people could receive money for one infection. A global agreement on pandemic prevention, preparedness and response, which is still in negotiation, would not encroach on state sovereignty. In the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic, World Health Organization member countries have spent more than 2 years thrashing out an accord to ensure a repeat worldwide health disaster could never happen again. However, the negotiation process has been continually extended as countries are struggling to find common grounds in key areas. Claims have circulated in several countries in recent weeks, notably Britain, the United States and Switzerland, that the text could undermine state sovereignty in health matters. WHO Emergencies Director Michael Ryan, however, said that establishing the global agreement is an absolute expression and definition of sovereignty. He noted that to be truly sovereign means to engage with others confidently and be confident in their own independence. The Bureau steering the negotiations must report on progress to the World Health Assembly, the annual gathering of WHO member states, which runs from 27th May to 1st June. The pandemic agreement negotiations are set to go on until Friday, and the Assembly will decide what to do next, depending on whether the negotiators agree and finalize text or not. 16 companies at the forefront of developing artificial intelligence pledged at a global meeting to develop the technology safely at a time when regulators are scrambling to keep up with rapid innovation and emerging risks. The decision was backed by a broader declaration from the group of 7 major economies, the EU, Singapore, Australia and South Korea. It was reached at a virtual meeting hosted by British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. Yoon said global efforts shepherding the emerging technology of AI must ensure it is safe and does not harm to the ideals of democracy or global social well-being. Participants noted the importance of interoperability between governance frameworks, plans for a network of safety institutes, and engagement with international bodies to build on agreement at a first meeting to better address risks. Tesla's Elon Musk, former CEO of Google, Eric Schmidt, Samsung's Electronics' chairman, J.Y. Lee, and other AI industry leaders participated in the virtual meeting. The next meeting is scheduled to be held in France. Now, thousands of Iranians turned out to mourn President Ebrahim Raisi in the city of Tabriz after he was killed in a helicopter crash near the Azerbaijan border at the weekend, along with his foreign minister and 7 others. Mourners, many of them dressed in black, beat their chests while a truck covered in white flowers carrying the caskets wrapped in the national flag was driven slowly through the crowd. Mourners carried posters bearing images of Raisi, Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian and other officials who were also killed in the crash. From Tabriz, Raisi's body was flown to Tehran airport before heading to the city of Qom. From there, it returned to the capital to lie at Tehran's Grand Mosalla Mosque before being transferred to his hometown of Mashhad in eastern Iran for burial on Thursday. The death of the president came at a time of deepening crisis between the clerical leadership and society at large over issues from tightening social and political controls to economic hardship. To restore damaged legitimacy following a historic low turnout of around 41% in March parliamentary election, Iran's rulers must stir up public enthusiasm to secure high participation in the early presidential election that will be held on 28 June. Indian authorities in the capital have ordered schools shut early for the summer holiday after temperatures hit 47.4 degrees Celsius, with Delhi gripped by a severe heat wave. Delhi city officials asked schools to shut with immediate effect due to the blistering heat, cutting short of the term by a few days. India's Weather Bureau has warned of severe heatwave conditions this week, with the mercury reaching the sizzling peak of 47.4 degrees Celsius in Delhi's Najafgarh suburb on Monday, the hottest temperature countrywide. Authorities in other states, including Haryana, Madhya Pradesh, Punjab and Rajasthan, have also ordered schools closure. India is no stranger to searing summer temperatures, but years of scientific research have found climate change is causing heat waves to become longer, more frequent and more intense. The Indian Meteorological Department warned of the impacts of the heat on the health, especially for infants, the elderly and those with chronic diseases. In May 2022, parts of Delhi hit 49.2 degrees Celsius. Neighbouring Pakistan, over 1,000 camps have been set up across Pakistan's southern province of Sindh in anticipation of a severe heat wave. The Pakistan Meteorological Department said temperatures are expected to hit at as high as 50 degrees Celsius in parts of rural Sindh. According to Assistant Director of the Provincial Disaster Management Authority, Ajay Kumar, the camps have been set up to provide relief to affected people and to help reduce instances of heat stroke and other heat-related diseases. The heat wave will affect much of the country, building over the next week. Schools in the province have already postponed annual examinations scheduled for this week, including in the mega port city of Karachi, home to more than 20 million people. In Lahore, all schools in the province will be closed for a week, whilst the government of Sindh has urged citizens to take precautions in the intense heat. Extreme heat in Pakistan is often coupled by deficit in power supply, with some areas experiencing up to 15 hours a day of load shedding. Pakistan is increasingly vulnerable to extreme weather events, which scientists have linked to climate change. A wave of severe storms flooded roads in Omaha, Nebraska, catching early morning commuters by surprise. According to local media outlets, the heavy rain combined with hail and high winds left several drivers stranded in high water and in need of rescue. The deluge of more than 12.7 centimeters of rain in less than 2 hours flooded basements and submerged cars. Local officials reported thousands of residents had lost power in the storms, which carried winds of up to 96 kilometers per hour. The National Weather Service said severe thunderstorms with excessive rainfall will continue in the Midwest through Tuesday and into Wednesday morning. Multiple water rescues were underway as flooding swept through many areas. And next in sports, Malaysia advanced to double and Regu finals of Sepak Takraw World Cup. Stay with us. The national Sepak Takraw squad has achieved its target of qualifying for the finals of the Premier Division's Regu and doubles event at the 2024 Sepak Takraw World Cup at Titi Wangsa Stadium last night. The almost 1,000-strong local fans erupted into cheers as doubles pair Aidil Aiman Azwawi and Muhammad Noraizat Muhammad Nordin overcame Myanmar's Zin Min U and Shain Munzo 15-10, 17-16 in a nail-biting semi-final match. They will go against defending champions Thailand, who beat Indonesia 15-8, 15-13 in the other semi-final match. In the Regu event, Malaysian trio Farhan Adam, left arbit, Muhammad Shahid Muhammad Rosdi, tekong, Muhammad Azlan alias right arbit, beat the Myanmar team of Zin Kogo, Min Thon Tu and Pei Nen Chan, Kin Maung Cho, 15-3, 15-11. They will next face defending champions Thailand, who easily beat the Philippines 15-4, 15-8 in the other semi-final match. National para-athlete Muhammad Ziad Zulkifli celebrated his third personal World Para-Athletics Championship gold medal after he emerged as champion of the men's shot put for person with intellectual disability event at the 2024 World Para-Athletics Championships in Kobe, Japan. His winning throw of 17.43 meters at Kobe Universiade Memorial Stadium broke the Asian record of 17.29 meters he set at the 2017 World Para-Athletics Championship in London. The throw won him his third gold medal in this championship after two previous gold medal wins in 2013 and 2017. Muhammad Ziad beat French shot putter Son Luca, who took home the silver medal with a distance of 15.92 meters. At the third place, Jordi Patricio of Ecuador took home the bronze with a distance of 15.80 meters, while fellow Malaysian Muhammad Alif Muhammad Awi placed seventh with a distance of 13.48 meters. The 2024 World Para-Athletics Championship is taking place from 17th to 25th May. And in tennis, second seed Alexander Bublik is through to the quarterfinals of the Lyon Open after defeating Australian Alexander Vukic 6-4, 6-2. Bublik reached his third tour-level quarterfinal on clay and first since Madrid in 2021. The world number 19 fired 10 aces and saved both break points he faced to secure victory after 71 minutes in France. Bublik's best result on clay this season came in Madrid, where he reached the fourth round. Bublik, who is chasing his second title of the season, will next meet Pavel Kotov after the world number 57 beat French wildcard Alexandre Muller 7-6, 6-1. In other action, Frenchman Giovanni Impecci Pericard advanced to the second round of the competition. Wildcard Impecci Pericard defeated Lorenzo Sonego 6-3, 6-4 to earn his first tour-level win and first against a top 50 opponent in the PIF ATP rankings. The 20-year-old, competing at a career high number 117, won 82% of his first serve points to advance after 77 minutes. Impecci Pericard has won 3 ATP Challenger Tour titles this season and will next play Yoshihito Nishioka after the lefty beat German lucky loser Sebastian Fanselo 6-love, 6-1. Over in Switzerland, the dream of one more match between Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic evaporated as Murray tumbled out of the Geneva Open on his comeback from an ankle injury. Wildcard Murray was 7-5, 4-1 down to Yannick Hanfmann when a thunderstorm lashed the Parc de Haut-Vivre grounds on Monday. They resumed yesterday, with the German world number 85 taking little more than 10 minutes to win the second set 6-2. Hanfmann held serve twice and did not face a break point in his 1 hour 43-minute triumph, his 10th at tour level this year. Ever since Friday's draw, tennis fans had been relishing what could perhaps have been the last match between members of the Big Four, who have dominated men's tennis this century: Djokovic, Murray, Rafa Nadal, and the now retired Roger Federer. Instead, Hanfmann will now face world number 1 Djokovic in the second round. It will be a first Lexus ATP head-to-head meeting between the pair, both of whom are competing for the first time in Geneva this year. Meanwhile, Murray said he is unlikely to carry on playing competitive tennis beyond the next few months. The Geneva match was former world number 1 and 3-time Grand Slam winner Murray's first tour-level outing since damaging tendons in his left ankle in Miami in March. And moving on to football, Chelsea Football Club has confirmed that Mauricio Pochettino has left his job as its manager by mutual consent after 1 season in charge. Pochettino joined Chelsea ahead of the 2023-24 season when he replaced interim manager Frank Lampard as the club's new owner, Todd Bowley, and clearly Capital looked to freshen things up at Stamford Bridge after finishing 12th in the previous campaign. Although Chelsea started the season poorly and found themselves in the bottom half of the standings despite spending more than any club in Europe, Pochettino managed to guide the London club to 6th in the Premier League standings. Speculation had been rife that the former Paris Saint-Germain and Tottenham Hotspur boss would be gone after just 1 year in charge, but Pochettino remained tight-lipped about his future when asked after the final game of the season on Sunday. Cristiano Ronaldo is likely to set a Euro record after he was named in Portugal's 26-man 2024 squad. Unveiled by coach Roberto Martinez, the 39-year-old five-time Ballon d'Or winner will be appearing in his 11th major international tournament. He played his first match at Euro 2004 and will be making a record 6 appearance at the Men's Continental Championship. He collected a winner's medal in France in 2016, even though he went off injured after 25 minutes in the final. Ronaldo already holds the men's world record for caps, 206, and international goals, 128. He again proved indispensable as Portugal won all 10 of their qualifying games, scoring 36 goals and conceding 2.
Cristiano Ronaldo, acho que é melhor falar dos dados. É jogador que marca 42 golos em 41 jogos pelo seu clube, mostra uma continuidade, uma capacidade física de estar sempre apto e uma qualidade à frente da baliza que nós gostamos muito e precisamos disso.
Alongside Ronaldo in attacks, Martinez has selected strikers Rafael Leao, João Felix and Gonçalo Ramos, as well as Pedro Neto, Pepe and Francisco Conceição. The creative midfielders include Bernardo Silva, who has just won an English title with Manchester City, and Bruno Fernandes of Manchester United. Still in football, Atalanta trained at Dublin Arena as they gear up for their Europa League final against Bayer Leverkusen, slated for tomorrow morning. The Serie A team is aiming to bag their first major trophy in 61 years after losing to Juventus in the Coppa Italia final. This match will be coach Gian Piero Gasparini's first European final, but since his arrival in 2016, Gasparini has changed Atalanta's fortunes, making the Bergamo-based outfit an ever-present club in European competition. Atalanta play an enjoyable attacking style with high intensity, and managers like Pep Guardiola and Maurizio Sarri have likened facing Gasparini's teams to going to the dentist. But while Leverkusen coach Xabi Alonso has a full squad at his disposal, Atalanta will be missing key starters such as midfielder Martin de Roon and defender Sead Kolasinac, while right back Emil Holm is in doubt. And that wraps up World Today. In our top story, Singapore to send investigators to Bangkok after flight incidents. Tune in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on TV1 and saluran Berita RTM. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. For those celebrating, have a blessed Vesak Day. I'm Brendan Lepal. Thank you for watching.